Welcome back to another episode of the White Sox March to October. And here in Season 5, we're off to an insane start. Through about a quarter of the season so far, we're at a 38-5 record. Has to be the best start we've gotten off to. We already set the single season wins record with 121, and then set a new record the next season with 123, and we might be on pace to break that again. And as of recording this episode, the trailer for MLB 25 has come out, along with a bunch of information about the game, and I did kind of want to talk about that in today's episode as it relates to March to October and maybe some plans for next year. But I'm gonna wait until we're in a game to talk about that, because this first key moment we gotta devote our full attention to, because it's a player lock, and it's an interesting player lock too. Dominic Fletcher, one of the very few remaining OGs of this team from season 1, and he's already having himself a season. First of all, he's finally realized that A potential that he got upgraded to back in season 1. He's up to 90 overall, but also in terms of the season he's having, it's a little bit different than the kind of seasons we're used to seeing out of him. Way more power. 11 home runs already in 36 games, 150 at bats, but he's also doing that while maintaining a 300 average, 385 on base. So if he can keep this up, he's already on pace for his best season yet, and we have a chance to turn it into something even better. But honestly, I'd say just with knowing how last season went, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. But this is even more important to succeed in, because he kind of was doing the same thing last year. Out of the gates, he was hitting for a lot of power, hitting a lot more home runs than usual, and then that kind of tapered off. The average never really stayed where we're used to. So we don't want to let that happen again this year. If we can succeed with him, even if that means a 1+, that might solidify him as having his best season yet, and I'd love to see that. The good thing too is he bats leadoff, so we'll get as many at bats as possible. We're facing a righty. All right, time to lock in. Gotta learn when to shut up and focus on hitting. Ooh, and how much of that did I get? Come on. Ah, we're really starting out with that. I thought I got a lot more of that. I want to see the PCI, or is it gonna let me? It's not gonna let me. We're just right into the next AB. Oh my God, we're going opposite field again. We didn't get as much of that one. He's still gonna... I mean, that technically made it to the warning track, even if the warning track in the corner there is a lot bigger. That's 2 opposite field warning track flyouts. This is a player lock. This is a classic beginning of the episode player lock. All right, AB number 3. We have a 3-0 lead. Oh my God, now I'm just swinging through fastballs. Too early, and the PCI wasn't on it. That's bad. There. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to speak too soon in case that shortstop got up to that one, but there we go. That should secure, I would hope, a plus. A perfect swing, an extra base hit, a run batted in. I'd like to say that locked things up to at least not fail. Ooh, is Langlears gonna beat that out? If so, we got driven in. He did. 5-0 lead now, so we can feel pretty good about getting a win, which is important in player locks. That still determines if we get a fireball or a snowflake. We should have locked up a 1+ already, and we should get at least 1 more at bat. Maybe 2, since we put up a couple more runs, and this is only the 6th. Good thing we have a runner on second, because that means the clutch is active with a lefty out there. Oh, and I did the same thing I did on that one Musgrove fastball. It was way too early on 93. Oh, and then that one caught. Yeah, you gotta just swing. It's an 0-2 count. It's a close pitch. You can't be taking it. All right, we do get another at bat. It's another righty out there. We have an 8-1 lead. Let's just see if we can add on to what we might be able to get in terms of pluses. They are working Dominic Fletcher away in every single at bat. Look at this. I mean, we'll go Oppo again. It got down. All right. That's crazy. I mean, we had the 1 strikeout on an outside pitch. All 3 strikes in that at bat were outside pitches too. And then we have 2 opposite field flyouts and 2 opposite field hits. Ooh, we get a chance to steal here. I don't know if I got a good enough jump. He had a high leg kick. Oh yeah, we're in. So now add a steal to it too. You'd have to assume that at that point, that's going to be a 2+. I don't know though. Let's see. This game is always full of surprises. And 2+ for a solid 2-hit game. All right, I will definitely take that. With my track record of starting episodes with player locks not going so well, that was very nice. So that won't give him an attribute boost. In case there's anybody who needs explaining, that just gives him a they call it a performance boost. It just says he plays better in games that are simmed. And now more scouting, man. Do I just want to automate this? I'm so tempted to just automate this. Yeah, you know what? I've done half the scouting. I'm just gonna automate the rest of this. If we think back to the first season's draft and the fact that none of those guys have made our team yet, now that we're in year 5, anybody that I draft now in year 5 would pretty much have no chance of getting called up for another 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I'm not gonna worry about scouting too in depth anymore. We're still gonna do the draft. I still manually scouted some guys that hopefully I'll remember by then, but yeah, I just don't want to waste my time with that anymore. I didn't really pay much attention how we did in those simulations. I think we lost just 1 game. So yeah, we're 41-6 now. And one thing I did want to do real quick after that player lock and then before the next moment is, since we're about 50 games in, that's about halfway to the trade deadline, which is when we can't access this screen anymore. But I have fun doing this. I know some of you guys like when I do this. I want to look at our prospects, see how they're progressing. 50 games through another season. First one here, Jeremy Bench, still hasn't cracked that 80 overall yet. Pitching another year in AAA, putting up solid enough numbers. Still not on the 40-man, so we can't even have a thought that he'd be able to get called up. Johnny Castro, though, I think was our season 2 first overall pick. He's progressing very nicely, all the way up to a 76 overall with that B potential, only 20 years old. He's also not on the 40-man, but if he got a chance at a fast track and then a call up, my God, look out. Chris Roca is pretty much where he's going to be unless he gets the chance at a call-up. He's not on the 40-man either. Joel Rosales, he's also up to a 71. I remember this was kind of a later round sleeper pick, so he's still turning out pretty nice. Same thing with our guy Jody Deal back from that first draft, almost up to a 70. I'm kind of losing faith that we're going to get to see him, though, before this March to October ends. But he's pitching pretty solid down in AA. I'd love the chance to do something with him. And it's kind of crazy to think that with those guys we just kind of talked about, Jody Deal, Rosales, Roca, Castro, and Jeremy Bench, if that was my starting rotation, it might actually be a better overall rotation than we started with back in year 1. I mean, obviously we had Cease, who was good, but then the rest of that rotation, I can't even remember who would have been like over a 75 even. We might not have had anybody over a 75 right at the start. I don't know. I just point that out because it's crazy that we could build an at least competent rotation out of these prospects that, as it stands right now, we have no hope of even calling up. But then a new name here, because this was our first pick of the last draft, at least I think it was. Aaron Derma, A potential, 62 overall. Again, I'm kind of losing hope that we're going to be able to see these guys, but I guess that just makes it more likely that I'm going to want to do some sort of long-term simulation once I say the March to October is done. But that's pretty much all. Well, I guess not all. We didn't look at Fernando Segura, but he's been down here ever since we drafted him, which I think was the first draft. And actually, I mean, he is a 61 overall. Again, if we put this through the lens of like back at season 1, if we had a 61 overall B potential that was 22 years old, he would have been like one of our better pitching prospects probably. He probably would have been somebody who I'd be sitting here all excited about. But as it stands right now, I would say we've drafted well enough that he's kind of like a prospect we disregard. We don't have too many like prospect relief pitchers. It is kind of fun seeing a guy like Jordan Leisure, though, still in the system, still working his way up. He actually is on the 40-man these days, so maybe he'll have a chance at some point. Diego Alvarez is one of the few relief pitcher prospects, though, lefty, C potential, but you don't always need much better than a C potential for bullpen lefties. I mean, maybe with how stacked our bullpen is, you'd need to be better than that. Carlos Moya, though, same deal. He's not really progressing much this year. Same with Jay Watson. And then Darius Aquija, for some reason, at a 75 overall, still only in single A. He could probably be good enough to pitch in the big leagues as it stands right now. But again, not on the 40-man. Kind of losing hope we're going to get to see him. And then another pick from this last draft was Jay Grimsley, a potential catcher. He'd be someone, again, I'm just kind of disappointing myself thinking, oh, we're never going to get to see these guys come up to the big big leagues, because I'd actually be excited to see this guy. Switch hitter like that, a potential. It'd be so interesting to see what he can turn into, even though he's already a little bit on the older side when it comes to being a prospect. Oh, and then this dude, I don't think I've talked about this guy yet. Ryan Ward. I'm not even sure if he's a real guy, but he's 30 years old, somehow just appeared on our roster going into this season. He's a 72 overall. He's destroying AAA pitching. He's on the 40-man, and look at his attributes right here. I mean, if he got a fast track or even just a call up, I could definitely see myself, as long as I like succeed in the player lock, that gets the contact way up. Then he's a little bit more of a balanced hitter. He can play the outfield. He's relatively fast. I'd probably call him up over Lazaro. We definitely, though, don't have as many position player prospects as we do pitching prospects. Honestly, most of what were our position player prospects are just in the big leagues right now. But Jimmy Hernandez is one of them, and he's having, I mean, I don't know, interesting development, I guess, because he's not really getting much better against righties, but he's destroying lefties. Isn't really putting up that great of numbers overall, but if his stuff against lefties is going up that much, just makes me wonder how good he must be hitting against lefties and how bad he must be against righties. We picked a couple shortstops in the last draft too. Not really doing anything yet, not even really overall to look at yet. People aren't really having as much progression so far as I kind of would have hoped looking at this. A couple of our center fielders, you got Angelo Ayala, who I feel like had a bit better progression last season I would have expected. He's not really doing too much so far. He's actually struggling big time this year. Then we got Johnny Alez, who was, I was gonna say a high pick, but he might have even been our number 1 pick in the 3rd draft, but he's still young. He's still working his way up, not even a 60 overall yet. He's in AA. It's kind of right field that we have a lot of interesting prospects. It's kind of like the almost like island of misfit toys of prospects, because you got guys like Kana Matsumoto and Morgan Gallegos. You could even throw Kevin Montalvo in there, who all are like pretty solid overalls right now, but all aren't really going to get any better because of what their potential is. Like, I'm pretty sure Matsumoto's only a 71 potential. Gallegos, he's a D potential, so he's probably going to be getting worse over the course of the season. Montalvo, same thing, C potential. He still has some room to get there though. But then when you have those guys that are like that, you also have the other guys that we drafted at lower overalls, which Eldridge Flanagan was one from our first draft, and he's had like, well, I guess 4 years now to develop. He's still only a 62. But then Michael McCormick was the same way, his A potential. He's actually, I forgot how much he progressed last season. He's up to a 62. He's only 19. That's actually pretty solid. But then we took Alex Mata last year, and yeah, 46 overall. That's gonna take him a while. And also, since we're on this screen, I did just remove prospects from I guess what we're looking for. So I have nothing even anymore that I'm targeting, because I don't have anything that I'm targeting. I can't remember if it was last episode or 2 ago where I had a chance to make what would have been a good trade, and I just didn't want to do it, because that's kind of not the point of why I'm still playing this mode right now. Isn't just to make trades that just bring in new potential stars. Like, I want to see who we have on our team progress through the system. So the only real trades that I care about is like getting rid of guys, and it's these 4 right now that I care to get rid of. Really only Baroa and Garcia, and it's gonna be getting to the point where I'm going to want to get rid of Woodruff soon. But all right, enough of that. Let's get into our next game here. It's going to be a quick one, so I'm not even going to get to talk about MLB 25 stuff yet, because this is just going to be a crochet. Let's get 3 quick outs and walk away with a win. So let's just do it. I'm not even going to bother checking on the game stats here, because we have one job and that's it, and that is sit down 3 hitters and pick up a Garrett Crochet save. Got to make this play. Lawler, he should. With all that speed, good fielding, good arm. Ooh, he was way early on the fastball up. And then we get him with the slider running away. One of the best pitches we have on this entire team is that lefty-lefty slider from Crochet. And Austin Riley with the weak jam dribbler is going to end it as a nice little easy win there. 14 saves on the season now for Crochet. which honestly, if that was our 42nd win of the season, I don't know. Should he have more than 14 saves, or does that make sense? Maybe if it was 42 wins over like a longer stretch of time, but obviously he can't come in to save every single game because we're winning almost every single game. I mean, this is really, it's already been in crazy territory, but this is something else. 42-6 after that game. We get 2 momentum. Actually, I didn't even pay attention to that. I thought it would have only been 1. So let's see how this sim goes. Series against the Braves. Are we going to sweep them? Of course. Astros now. Are we going to sweep them too? One more win. Oh, we have to play it. I have to sweep the Astros. And look at this. Have I ever seen this before? We're in our 5th year of the March to October, and I might be seeing something I've never seen before. 13-12 we're going to be loading into. Both teams in double digits. Dude, look at the team right now. Look at all these fireballs here. Except for Ezekiel Duran is cold. He's still putting up good numbers. Vlad's up to 18 home runs. Fletcher's added on a couple more. Spencer Jones, man. I'm so happy he's having such a good season because I was not expecting him to even come close to Luis Robert production as the center fielder of this team. But he might be having a better season than we saw out of Robert. I don't know. But speaking of Luis Robert Jr., we should be seeing him in this game because the Astros are where he signed. So kind of a revenge game for him. They scored 10 in the 2nd inning. Oh, who got lit up? Whose season is ruined? Jake Eater. He only went an inning and a third, gave up 6 earned, so somebody came out of the bullpen and gave up 4 more. That's crazy, man. I mean, we have to pause before we start playing here. Kyle Tucker has 3 home runs. He's already 4 for 5 in the game with 6 driven in. I wonder if he hit 2 in the same inning. I wonder if he hit 2 home runs in that 2nd inning. That is definitely a possibility. We have Austin Hayes has a triple and a bomb. He's driven in 7. And then Colin Houck also went deep. Vlad and Duran have doubles. Ooh, and then it was a team effort giving up all those runs. Eater giving up 6, Prelander, Baroa giving up 4, only getting 1 out, and then Woodruff coming in for 3 and a third, but still giving up 3 runs. Joe Barlow, though, with 2 scoreless to get it back on track, but we still gotta pick up 1 extra run here to tie it up. So let's see what we can do here. Hunter Brown on the mound. We got Lawler up, and since we're trying to make a comeback, I'm gonna focus on hitting right now. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. That's a perfect swing. Just a base hit though, but that felt good. That felt real good. Now we got 2 on. Go ahead run has 99 speed on first, so a ball in the gap would give us the lead. They're going to a lefty. That's Fletcher. I know it's a clutch situation, but do I bring in Senzel? Nah, you know what? Maybe this isn't smart. I'm sticking with Fletcher. He's got 81 clutch, which is better. Obviously the power is nowhere near Senzel against lefties, but we also got a lot of game to go, and I kind of want to keep Fletcher's glove in the outfield. Oh no, can I get to 3rd on this? 78 speed. I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, we're in easily, but man, that was a lot better of a swing than that result would indicate. Look at that. I was around on it. I guess the PCI was a little off. That might have been enough to do it. Okay, if they catch that, this is a tie game. He did catch it, so we got a tie game. All right, fair enough then. Lawler moves him to 2nd. Back-to-back sac flies will tie it up. I mean, I was focused on the lead, but you got to start by tying it up, I guess. That's going to score Lawler. He was on the move on a 3-2 count. Yeah, he's in easily. Vlad does it because of course he does. 14-13 lead after an RBI 2-out double from our MVP. And maybe this is the year he steps up and does win the MVP. He's definitely had himself a few MVP caliber seasons so far, but he's just never quite had enough to actually win the award. Langeliers is going to go ahead and end this inning though, but hey, we did what we needed to do. I'm going to go ahead and go to Andres Munoz to keep this one where it's at. That's going to finally lead me into what I wanted to talk about when it comes to March to October for MLB 25. Because really, with what we know about March to October and MLB 25, just kind of nothing to talk about. You know, there's the trailer, there's a couple different game listings and blog posts and stuff, and there was really nothing said about March to October. All that I can remember was there was like one line that combined franchise and March to October, saying the new feature coming to the game was like improved, I guess, trade logic and defensive wins above replacement. So I guess defensive wins above replacement, that's our big March to October update next year. But I don't know. I kind of saw that coming. There was nothing really that was changed from last year's March to October to this year, so I kind of wasn't surprised to not really see anything from this year's to next year's, at least from what we know now. And again, from what we know now, knowing that there's really not much going on in this mode, it kind of solidifies what I wanted to do going into next year when it comes to March to October. Because obviously this year we stuck with these White Sox. We're in the middle of season 5. I want to get through 6 seasons, but I think when it comes to next year, I don't know if I want to have a long-term March to October. I've kind of felt for a while now that I want to move up. I want to take that step up into franchise mode for the White Sox. I think it would be fun to have that challenge to take the worst team of all time into franchise mode next year and try and turn that around. But that doesn't mean there won't be no March to October. I still plan on doing March to Octobers. The one interesting thing that would pertain to March to October is just the fact that they announced a new difficulty. They're calling it GOAT difficulty, so that makes me feel like it's a step above Legend. So I do think it would be fun to try and play a March to October with like the worst team or one of the worst teams. I have a couple of teams in mind, but on this new GOAT difficulty, try and win a World Series in one season of March to October. But then from that point, I really don't think I want to do any multi-season March to Octobers. But again, I'm not going to abandon the mode. I am for sure going to get back into streaming. Ideally, I'm going to get back into streaming a little bit before 25 comes out so I can get back into the groove of it, I guess. Well, never really was in the groove, if we're being honest. But yeah, I kind of want to do next year what I originally wanted to do this year with streaming March to October, and I want to stream a March to October with a bunch of different teams over the course of the year. But I don't know. I kind of feel like the most fun I have in this mode is always that first season anyway, whether I'm only gonna plan on playing one season or if it's like this White Sox March to October where we played more, but still looking back on that first season, that was the one that was the most fun. Wow, I can't believe I missed that. So yeah, I don't know. We still have over a month. Nothing set in stone yet, but just the fact that we didn't really see anything, they didn't really say anything about March to October, those are just kind of my thoughts going into next year. As this year might have been the last year of a big long-term multi-season March to October on the channel. So hopefully that doesn't disappoint too many of you guys. Again, like I said, I'm not planning on abandoning the mode. I'm probably rambling about this way too much anyway for how far away from next year's game we still are. And I guess there's also the sliver of hope that they just haven't announced new features to the mode yet, which I guess also leads me into saying I've been kind of sitting on the idea for a while and I need to just do it, but I kind of want to make a video just talking about what I want to see in the mode. Like, I feel like I've had so many things I've complained about, so many things I've said that should be something you should be able to do in this mode, that I just kind of want to put a video all together talking about those things. So might be something I upload sooner or later, but I guess for now let's just shift the focus back to the current situation here, wrapping up this win. And we're gonna ground out with Spencer Jones. So we got a chance at another save then with Crochet here with a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. I mean, he sat down that Braves lineup. Let's do the same thing here. This par on him is kind of annoying. He's had a lot of fastballs in just these 2 appearances so far that, I mean, I miss my spot. I get a yellow and it's actually a better pitch. Ooh, look at that. I was not expecting him to chase that. Good result there. Whoa, at the bottom of the screen, Jake Berger snaps an 0-for-39 streak. That's a rough time. That is nearing Chris Davis levels. Okay, Crochet, come on. He's having trouble putting guys away here. 11 pitches to 2 batters, and we couldn't even get the second one. Ooh. Oh, wait, that's going to turn into a game-ending double play. Maybe the worst pitch I've thrown in who knows how long, and it was the best pitch we could have thrown. So there we go. Win streak intact. I almost forgot we made a comeback, so we get 4 momentum fireballs to continue the win streak. So how long is it gonna continue then? How much is, oh, we were neutral. I didn't realize we're all the way down. Not anymore. That's a big fireball. So we sweep the Astros, playing the Twins. Are we, oh, we lost. We lost a game. It's possible. We lost 2 games. We tied a series. All right, well, I guess that leads right into a trade. I'm almost like in shock that we lost 2 games out of 4. We'd only lost 6 out of like 50 up to that point. Anyway, though, trades. 2 of them from Pittsburgh and then 1 from the Nationals. And it looks like the game actually understood, because we're not trading for prospects anymore, and Woodruff is actually on the list to be traded away. I just don't like seeing Michael McCormick here. He's kind of not somebody I want to trade away. Again, it's probably not like we're gonna see him within the March to October, but if we operate as if we weren't wrapping this up after next season, I don't think McCormick would be somebody I'd make this trade for, considering who we have on our team right now, because even though Jared Triolo is an 85 overall, probably wouldn't really be cracking the lineup anywhere. All right, anyway, though, trade 2, a different chance for the Pirates, and this might be the worst trade I've ever seen. So how about the Nationals? They also want McCormick. CJ Abrams, though, would be kind of fun, kind of a throwback to last year's March to October. But again, they're asking for McCormick, they're asking for Aquija, and then they're also asking for Joel Rosales. And this is just the same reason I didn't make a trade last time. Is like, yeah, maybe making this trade would improve our team right now. I mean, I actually don't know if it would. But if it would, it's not the type of trade I want. I'm holding out for our guys as they progress up through, and I want to see him. I have yet to have a player that I've drafted make it to the MLB, so I want to keep as many around as I can to see that happen. So I think I'm gonna reject all these again. I don't know, it's like there's no way to convey to the CPU what you want to do with trades, because really the only trades I want to make right now are getting rid of the guys I want to get rid of and get back guys that aren't MLB caliber, that are just gonna go straight to the minors, and it'd be more about just getting rid of guys instead of what we're adding. So yeah, we're declining these again, back to simulating series against Okay, doesn't matter because this is a move that I want to make. Jose Leclerc, signed him in the offseason, and then we didn't have enough spots for him because we had to have Prelander Baroa up. He's actually regressing a bit more than I would have liked to see when I signed him, but maybe that's just because he's stuck in AAA. Maybe once we bring him up, that'll calm down a bit. Obviously, though, we can't send down Davy Garcia or Prelander Baroa because of the same issue we've been having since day one, where those guys aren't send downable because of their minor league option situation. But what we can do is send down Brandon Woodruff. He doesn't have much of a spot on this team anymore now that Dustin May took over the starting role. I mean, he is our number one option when it comes to long relief, and I guess the thought that Davy Garcia and Baroa are gonna get used more because Woodruff, he has pitched in 14 games for almost 40 innings. The thought of those 40 innings being spread amongst Baroa and Garcia are kind of scary. And he has been good. It's not like he hasn't been good. It's just he's still in a free fall. He's declining because of his age. So let's get another high leverage guy up here. I mean, if our starters can take care of the first 6 innings, 5 innings even, probably, we don't even need to worry about long relief. All right, so we get to play this next game against the Angels, but we're probably going to go ahead and save that for next episode. We finished, though, at 50-8 with 111 projected wins. I don't know, guys. If we can keep this up, 130 wins. That's what we're shooting for. Anyways, though, guys, for now, make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed. Don't hesitate to leave a comment about anything I said when it comes to next year's March to October if you have any thoughts. I always read every comment. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for me. We are right there, closing in on 1 million subscribers. But thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me again, and I will see you next time.